Tonight, and we sure hope you all enjoyed it.
Yes, and if we've given you a moment of happiness, so be it.
We'd also like to thank our guests for tonight, Betty Davis, Bob Crane, and the Buffalo Springfield. Now, next week, we're going to have the beautiful Barbara Eaton, Paul Revere and the Raiders, and the very, very talented Carl Reiner.
And if we're lucky, maybe we'll even bring his wife, Grace Kelly.
Here we go, Tommy. Carl Reiner's not married to Grace Kelly.
He isn't?
No, he's, of course not.
Boy, they sure got that country fooled.
What country?
Monaco.
No, Tommy, you're thinking of Prince Rainier. This is Carl Reiner. He's not a prince. He's not married to Grace Kelly.
Then why are we having him on the show if that's, okay?
Tommy, because he's a great talent, that's why. For years, he's made people laugh on the Sid Caesar show. He's been in movies, he's written, he's directed, he's produced. Carl Reiner is probably the biggest all-around talent. I mean, it's all-around talent in the entire business.
Then how come Grace Kelly turned him down?
I don't know. Good night, Tommy.
Good night, and good night, everybody.
Good night, Monaco. That was the fourth show of our series. Fourth show, first year, Smothers Brothers Comedy Hour. It was starting to make a really big splash and on the television ratings and the press and everything. And to have Betty Davis, first big, really dramatic actress to work that show.
It was so interesting because nowadays in television, you can't get a movie star to come on and learn a sketch and work with cue cards. And Betty Davis was so excited, and it was so fun to work with. The mix with Betty Davis and the Buffalo Springfield was interesting. Our casting always would try to put different types of acts and actors together. And the next time Betty Davis was on the show, she was with the Who later on in the season.
Well, what was it like? I never did really talk to you when you were doing that because you were so busy. How was it to work with and learn? Because, you know, we have problems learning at the same pace. This lady who does everything.
Well, it was so obvious that watching this, I mean, I barely got I was looking at cue cards the entire time.
Were you working on a heavy layer of charm to cover? No, I mean, really, when you sat down from the first day of the week, Monday, Betty Davis comes to the read-through just like anybody else. And the first time you had to say something to Betty Davis in a bit.
Well, we were both reading scripts, so it was all equal, looking down and reading scripts. It got later in the week when she started looking at me, telling me these lines, and I was still I was still over here about 5 feet from her eyes. But I guess the show had not really been was not running, and there was no controversy about the show in the first 4 weeks of the show. There was no problem with censorship. So Betty Davis and I just kind of connected. We liked each other.
Well, how did she help? Did she add? How did she help you through the pieces to make it grow from paper to being on its feet? Two different things.
Well, she's the whole reason it worked. She plays Marie Antoinette. I played Robespierre, which was a comedic character, but I look at it and say all the things I could have done. She was wonderful.
How was her timing? Did you think she had...
her timing's perfect. Well, she's a stage actress, too. She had a great...
Comedic timing, everything.
Everything.
And you hear so many stories about people like Betty Davis being tough to work with. In reality, it seems to me they are only tough if you didn't come up to their standards.
When we heard someone was tough to work with, we invariably
hired them
and found them to be probably the most cooperative and the most fun to work with, actually.
Yeah. That was our Comedy Hour from February 26, 1967. We hope you enjoyed it.
By the way, I figured it out. I didn't, on the Dirty Dozen, I didn't leave anybody out. I think it might have, I'm going to take the position it was the Dirty 11. That's my position.
They just screwed up on the title?
That's right. So if you have anything to add...
That's a good try. That's a good try. Well, I should tell Tommy who that was. It was Trenny Lopez.
Trenny Lopez.
Trenny Lopez, a very hot singer.
Did we ever have him on the show?
On this?
Yes.
Did we have him on the show?
Yeah.
I don't remember.
You must have been the 60s, too.
Yeah, I was a child of the 60s. Anyway, we'll see you next time for another Smothers Brothers Comedy Hour.
Tomorrow at 8 on the Smothers Brothers, guests include Ike and Tina Turner. That is when they were still talking. That's tomorrow at 8.